I spoke to my mate about it on the phone because we love our ruggers, and I don't know whether I should name drop him, but his name rhymes. Slug, Ravo, Sam Raven. Okay. So he's the Gloucester team manager. As we know, they played Bordeaux at the weekend and managed to come through that game. And watching the game and looking at Kingsholm, a stadium which you'd normally think would have been packed to the rafters, having played at Gloucester against Toulouse Friday night under the lights, so a similar kind of scenario in terms of how big Bordeaux are now, how much better they are now as a team, and where Gloucester are as a team, the exciting players they've got. I expected to see a sellout. Maybe because the football was on at the weekend as well, like we've kind of referenced, maybe the cost of living. But one thing that Ravo said to me, and Goody, Ravo, me, you are very similar. I put Ravo in the bracket of played at Leicester, but he was at Leicester with Jono, and back in the day we were in the academy when you lads were smashing it and Leicester were winning it. And we've got a relationship with the competition which is unbelievable because of the hysteria and what it was like back then. And back then was Leicester, Munster, Toulouse, Wasps, and then I had a relationship with it at Saracens as well, which was amazing. So the way that we think about it is probably very different to how most people think about the Heineken Cup. And I think you put in the mix as well the format. I couldn't, if someone said to me, right, sit down and explain the format, off the top of my head, I couldn't do it. I'd have to have it written down and be like, right, well, this is how it works. This is what it looks like. This is the reasons why. Rugby's a difficult sport to consume anyway. So I wonder how many fans were at the games at the weekend would even know what they're going to know. The two teams that are watching, if they were to lose a game, right, what happens now? Do we play them away from home? Like, I bet they wouldn't even know. Like, you're watching it, they wouldn't even know what the crack is. So I think it's just too confusing.
That's exactly what Super Rugby did. Exactly the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. And the URC as well. That's one of the bugbears that I've got around the URC because you can't really explain what's going on. You've got these micro pools within the tournament. And then you throw into the mix, and it was interesting listening to Eben Etzebeth, the South African teams. These players playing for South Africa must be absolutely fucking bollocks, right? And you think about the travel as well, which people are saying don't really affect teams if you're travelling business class. I don't even know if they're travelling business class, but you've got these flights in between as well, on some of them on 6-7 day turnarounds. It's just all over the place at the minute. So you look at Gloucester now. You've lost Fraser Balmain, your front line tight head, for a number of weeks or months. It probably looks like months. You've lost Jack Singleton the week before, horrible injury. So you're down 2 players in your front row. You just scraped through beating Bordeaux at home. You look at your next fixture, you're like, oh God, we've got Leinster away on a 6-day turnaround, right? Yeah,
basically Ireland.
You're basically playing Ireland. You're playing the best team in the world, right? As a coach, when you look at it on paper, we know that Leinster, how well they played against Racing at the weekend, like they absolutely smashed them. Gloucester, sorry Ravo, sorry Luds, I'd put me house on it, right, that they ain't beating Leinster on Friday. So as a coach, you kind of know that. If you're being realistic, you know that. So this then comes down to the issue around the tournament. So they look at that, they'd be like, right, yeah, we ain't winning that. So do you put out your frontline team? Because as a squad, you don't have the strength and depth that a Leinster do. So therefore, it comes back to something we spoke about weeks ago. You're devaluing the competition. If the playing field isn't the same, then this is a horrible thing to say, then what's the point in having a competition? Maybe that's the romance around it. But the realism around it, being realistic, and the commercial aspect of it, what's the point?
Pod.
Rugby pod.